Hey there. So I want to ask you something really quick before we dive into this week's episode. When you think about the holidays coming up, what's your first feeling? Is it excitement, like my sister who has the Christmas tree up right after Halloween? Or is it like me, the low grade kind of dread, the sense of, oh God, it's back? If you're like me, just know that you're not alone. But also, if you're like my sister, I want you to keep listening because today we're going to talk about why that is and what you can actually do about it when it comes to your dread. But I'm also going to be talking to those of you who love the holiday season and go all in on it. Because the holidays don't have to be something that you just survive and you go all in on everything. We're going to talk about setting healthy boundaries this season, real practical boundaries that are actually going to work. And if you want to go deeper with this, I've created something special for you called the Nourished Holiday Challenge starting on November 24. It's 4 weeks of support to help you feel nourished and balanced without the chaos and without the all or nothing thinking. So make sure to head to the show notes to grab your spot, or you can go to mindfullywell.com/holiday. All right, let's get into it. So, boundaries during the holidays. And let's just be honest about what usually happens. You probably say yes to some things you don't want to. You eat some foods that make you feel terrible. You stay up too late. You wake up exhausted. You maybe snap at people you love. And you probably overwork because you're trying to keep your business going while also doing all of the things. You show up to events out of obligation, and then you feel resentful every time you're there. And then January rolls around and you're like, well, thank God that's over. I just need to recover and get back to my normal routine. If this sounds familiar, here's the thing. Every single year we do this. Every single year we tell ourselves it's going to be different. And every single year we end up in the same pattern. But what if this year could actually be a little different? Not because you suddenly have more time or less family drama or fewer obligations, but because you set some boundaries and they were intentional, real ones that honor you and the other person, the situation, and the sugar rich type of foods, ones that actually make everyone feel better, not worse. And that's what we're going to dive in today. I'm going to walk you through the 3 key boundaries that will completely shift how you experience this holiday season. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to implement them, even when it feels hard. So let's get started with food, because this is where so many of us completely lose ourselves during the holidays. And I want to reframe with how we think about boundaries with food, because most of the time when we hear food boundaries, we think restriction. We think, oh, great, another thing I can't have. Or I'm going to try to manhandle my cravings and the sugar and the cookies that I love to have. It's just another rule I'm going to have to follow. But that's not what I'm talking about. The boundary I want you to consider is, what if your boundary was choosing more good food that fuels your body well, that helps you feel balanced and nourished during the holidays? Not less bad food, not less sugar, not less of your favorite things, but just more intentional food that nourishes you. Because here's what happens when you eat more of the foods that actually nourish you, that stabilize your blood sugar, that give you energy, that make you feel just simply good in your body. That's literally less room for the foods that make you feel like garbage. More good food equals less food that makes you feel unbalanced, bloated, and full of regret. So it's not about deprivation and about saying no. It's just about being intentional, about pre-deciding how you want to feel during the day instead of being reactive, especially with sugar. So what does this actually look like for you in your day? It looks like eating protein and fat at breakfast before you go to a holiday brunch. It looks like bringing maybe a veggie tray to the party that you want to go to and filling up your plate while you're there with those said veggies. And it looks like keeping your regular eating rhythm even when things get really busy and chaotic, because that rhythm is what keeps your nervous system ready and balanced and your blood sugar balanced. And yes, you can still have the cookie. You can still have that piece of pie, but you're not having them from a place of screw it, the holidays ruined everything anyway. You're having them from a place of choice and of intention. And that's the difference. And also, when I say that, when it lands, we're making this from choice and intention, Doesn't that just feel so much better instead of saying, I'm going to eat less sugar? I'm going to cut out sugar. I'm not having this kind of cookie, right? We're making a choice of intention. And when you eat this way, when you nourish yourself consistently, you send a message to your nervous system that says, we're safe here. We know what to expect. There is a boundary in place. That's exactly what we work on in week 1 of the Nourished Holiday Challenge. We're going to focus on nourishing with food, and it's going to be specifically during Thanksgiving week. Because here's the thing that happens during Thanksgiving week is that we work Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and then Thursday, we go all in on Thanksgiving. And then on Friday, Saturday, Sundays, we're just in this weird limbo of not really knowing what to do because Thanksgiving in the middle of the week kind of just throws things off. And then we're just very unintentional about everything we do for the rest of that week. If we can add in something very steady and anchored with how you build your meals for blood sugar stability and true nourishment, you're going to feel a whole lot better going into the following week of December when Christmas just throws up in your face. We're going to talk about how to fuel for steady energy and how to navigate sugar without the all or nothing thinking. I don't have expectations of you in any sort of my containers to ever cut out the things that actually bring you joy. What I help you do is help you choose them with intention and also understand how they really truly feel inside of your body and being able to create that balance of enjoying them and yet feeling good with them. And we're going to create the simple strategies that actually will work for you during this busy season. Now, let's talk about boundary number 2, and that is personal time and rest. Because this is where we really lose ourselves during the holidays. We're so busy taking care of everyone else, showing up to the extra things, making sure everyone is happy, and we just completely abandon ourselves. And it's no wonder why someone like me, who is very I'll say fragile to like social things and to just doing a lot of extra things outside of my house because I'm an introvert, is that and no wonder when I have to do all these extra things, or I shouldn't say have to, when I intentionally choose to go to these other things, that I am oftentimes taking time away from myself. Of course, I feel exhausted and depleted. And of course, I feel like I do things out of obligation, not because I truly want to do those things with intention. And then that ends up with resentment and why we're really running on fumes in the early part of January. So here's the boundary that I want you to think about, and it's anchoring and grounding yourself each day with a non-negotiable around your personal time and rest. Now, I know there's 24 hours in a day, but I also know that you don't need a whole lot of actual clock time, right? Time on looking at the clock to feel well cared for. I know that there's actually just a few things that help you feel balanced and anchored and grounded in your body. So, non negotiables that it's not that if you have time, it's I do have time for this. So, discovering what this is and what this actually looks like is what are the things that help you feel steady and calm and easeful in your body? What are the practices that help you just feel more like yourself? So, maybe it's 10 minutes of meditation or breath work or journaling in the morning. Maybe it's getting outside for a walk and getting that sun on your skin, even when it's cold. Something I reminded my clients this week was, like walks outside aren't as enjoyable right now. But walks outside right now, when it starts to get colder in the northern hemisphere where we are, and then in South Dakota where I am, is that the goal of it is not necessarily to enjoy the walk outside. It's to feel what a walk does for our body afterwards when we are outside, right? In the summertime and when it's nice outside, the walk itself outside feels really good and the time afterwards feel good. Now we're focusing on the time afterwards is the time that actually matters during my walk. Maybe it's going to bed at a specific time or always being home from an event by a certain time. Maybe it's saying no or rescheduling early things that you have, like maybe normally during the day, so that you can slowly ease into your mornings. Whatever it is, you need to know what it is and you need to protect it. So I will give you a good idea of what my morning routine looks like, because I take better care of myself in the morning than I would say in the evenings. Because in the evenings, my family is still awake. My family is asking things of me. I'm directing children places, doing some bedtime routines. Even though my kids are getting older, they still need some direction, especially my 9-year-old still needs a lot of direction in the evenings. And so my personal time, really, I make sure that I start my mornings with personal time. So actually what it looks like this time of year is that I'm intentionally setting my alarm clock about 15 to 20 minutes earlier than what it has been in the past few months, because I know that I have a really busy season coming up. And if I'm going to have time for myself, which is essential, then I'm going to need to create more time for it. And so we are now getting into more of a routine of going to bed a little bit earlier. I'm falling asleep earlier, and that has now allowed me to set my alarm for 15, 20 minutes earlier than what it has been. So I can get up and be really intentional about, I'm going to do my breath work. I'm going to listen to this. I'm listening to audiobooks right now about, the version of me that I want to be in 2026. I listen to something positive and good, and that just sets my day up. And that is my personal well cared for time. And I do that, right before and during my workout. So whatever it is, I want you to think about what is one way that I can ground and protect myself each day. I just said I spend 15 to 20 minutes. You don't even need that much time. If you can give yourself 5 minutes to do something, 10 minutes. And I would say as much time as you can possibly give yourself, that would be best. But something is better than nothing. So don't let this be an all or nothing. I'm just going to push through and ignore myself until January 1st. No, set the standard for yourself right now. Choose yourself intentionally during this holiday season. Because what happens when you don't? Your nervous system starts to get really dysregulated. You get far more reactive. So those food boundaries that we created in step number 1, now those go out the door, right? Because now we're really reactive and we're not able to stick to any other boundaries that we want to create with intention. You're going to be more anxious. You're going to be more irritable. You're going to make those decisions from a place of depletion instead of really feeling grounded in your body. And if you're running a business, forget it. You're going to go and you're going to either have to put the business in the corner and just get done what needs to keep the business afloat because you're so busy with personal stuff, or you're going to overwork at times that you don't want to be working because you feel behind. But when you create your boundaries with your personal time, you're just not giving back to yourself. You're giving back to your business. You're giving back to your family. You're giving back to everyone around you because you're showing up regulated, grounded, at ease instead of feeling depleted and resentful and very reactive. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to identify 2 to 3 non-negotiable things that you will protect no matter what during the holiday season. And I want you to communicate with them. So I would love for you after this episode to head to Instagram, because that's where I hang out socially, and DM me. What are the 3 things you're going to hold yourself to during the holiday season? What are the personal boundaries that you're going to set in place for yourself? I'm not going to check social media before 9 a.m., right? That could be an example. I will be home inside my house by 9 p.m. I am completely taking Sundays off online. That's another boundary. I'm going to consume my favorite cookie only at this event. I'm not going to eat raw cookie dough out of the fridge, right? Lots of different boundaries, and it doesn't need to be extreme. They can be simple ones that actually just help you feel more intentional and in control over yourself. So whatever it is, decide it now and protect it. And also, to give you some insight during the holiday challenge, this is going to be week 2 on how do we nourish our nervous system through the holidays so we can stay calm through the holiday chaos, so we can regulate our bodies every single day. And we get to create these anchors that help us feel really steady no matter what's going on around you. Okay, the last boundary. This is the one that's going to feel the hardest for a lot of you. And it's about choosing the events you want to go to with, again, intention instead of obligation. So right now, your calendar might be full of things you said yes to because you felt like you had to. the office party, the neighborhood cookie exchange, the school concerts, 12 family gatherings, a friends thing, another family thing. And you're going to go and you're going to show up to a few of those feeling resentful and feeling like I have to be here because XYZ. And feeling like I'd rather be anywhere else than here, and wishing they were over, and looking at the clock and asking your significant other, can we go yet? And here's what I know about that is that when we do something out of obligation instead of intention, we end up feeling really resentful. And that's a very low energy vibe, right? You're going to be carrying that energy with you, the resentment, the obligation, and that feels like total garbage. And that's why your actions will be very mirroring to resentment. What do you do from resentment? Right? You try to protect yourself from discomfort. You try to find different forms of safety or feeling better. So you would do more dopamine seeking behaviors. So scrolling on social media, shopping when you don't want to shop, eating more sugar, drinking more wine, right? You do those to try to buffer the feeling of resentment. And that just makes resentment kind of feel a little bit more fluffy in the moment. But then afterwards, now you feel resentment about your actions because that didn't actually match how you want to behave. Right? So that low energy vibe isn't just that 2-hour gathering or 4-hour gathering. It's also how you are treating yourself out during and after. The more obligation and resentment that you feel, the less joy you're going to feel in your holidays. The more you dread them, the more you wish they were over. And the truth is, like, maybe it's been like this every single year. We don't have to love everything about the holidays, but we may as well enjoy them as much as we can while they're here. I mean, they keep coming back year after year. I don't think we're going to escape them anytime soon. So why don't we just be more intentional about them? And one thing that I notice about myself personally, and also my clients that I coach during the holidays, is that it's so easy to revert back to childlike behavior this time of year because we're around family. We're around family that helped formed those childlike behaviors, right? They conditioned us as children to maybe be people pleasers, to maybe make sure that everyone is super happy and everyone is taken care of. And we choose the path of least resistance. But how much resistance are you feeling every single day during the holiday season because you're doing things you don't actually want to do? That's not the path of least resistance. That's the path of most resentment. So here's the boundary you get to choose. So many times we think we're forced into going to gatherings that we don't want to go to. And I want you to now reframe it to I'm making a choice. I'm making an intentional choice. Even if you don't love the gathering you're going to and you're choosing to go to it, you are making a choice. And you don't get to carry resentment or obligation over into that conscious choice. You get to decide also which events align with your values, which events actually bring you joy. Which ones do you actually want to attend? And yes, some things may be truly non-negotiable, but I promise you fewer things are non-negotiable than you think. You can say no to a cookie exchange. You can skip the office party. You can leave early. You can show up late. You can suggest an alternative that works maybe better for you. You never know. Maybe it works better for everyone else too. And I know what you might be thinking, but Melissa, if I do that, people are going to think I'm just going to say it, a bitch. People are going to be disappointed. People are going to judge me. Well, maybe. But let me tell you something. One boundary does not make you a mean girl. One boundary does not make you selfish. Often, those thoughts are already happening. Either you're thinking about them about yourself or the other person already has them about you. And then we try to overgive and we create this facade that we're not this person. But the truth is, a boundary does not make or break who you are. A boundary just solidifies how you want to be treated and how you want to feel. And there's the other truth. When you show up to things out of obligation, people can feel it. People feel energy. And that's maybe why they think you're a bitch anyway, right? They can feel your resentment. They can feel that you don't want to be there. That doesn't feel good for anyone. You're not doing anyone any favors. So if you're going to go to the thing, do it out of intention and choice instead of obligation. Boundaries are just a way that you honor yourself and that external thing, that person, that event, and also that food. Like everyone gets to win when there's a boundary in place. And when you create the boundary and you go with the boundary, you send the message to your nervous system, to your body, that we are safe here because we know what to expect, because there is a boundary in place. And I know it is hard to set boundaries, especially this kind of boundary, which makes us feel very vulnerable. It brings up a lot of fear, a lot of guilt, a lot of what are people going to think about me? And this is exactly why in the Nourished Holiday Challenge, week 3 is about feeling nourished with boundaries. We're going to break down how to stop the F-it cycle, which means with nutrition being all on or all out, how to protect your energy around things that are really important to you, how to communicate boundaries in a way that feel really good for you, and how to handle that guilt that comes up. Plus, if you need extra support with this, the challenge includes 2 incredible bonuses. The first is a personalized energy audit where I'm going to review your specific energy problems. So this is going to be like basic things like your sleep, your stress, your blood sugar, and I'm going to give you video feedback on your top energy leaks and how to establish some quick wins, both during the holiday season, but then afterwards as well. And then the second bonus, which is limited to only 10 spots because it's pretty incredible, you're going to get a private session with me. It's 15 minutes where I'm going to review your audit and then map your holiday challenge with you and help you discover what actually needs to be set in place for you to feel very well cared for and nourished, both during the holiday season and after. And also, this is going to be really helpful for somebody who has a lot of discomfort when it comes to setting boundaries. And so having that one-on-one support and walking you through it will be incredibly helpful for this. And so there's only 10 spots for that one-on-one bonus. So make sure to grab that as soon as you enroll. So let's recap the 3 boundaries we talked about today. Boundary number 1 was nourishment, choosing more good food during the holidays, not a restriction, not deprivation, but choosing with intention. Fueling your body in a way that keeps you steady, keeps your blood sugar balanced, and keeps your energy consistent. Boundary number 2, personal time and rest. Identify your non-negotiables and you need to protect them. The practices that ground you, that anchor you every day and keep you feeling like yourself even when everything else is chaotic. And boundary number 3, intentional choices. Saying yes to the events that align with your values and saying no to the ones that don't. Or if you're going to go anyway, choose with intention to go. These 3 boundaries will completely shift your holiday experience, not because they make everything perfect, but because they help you stay connected to yourself and your body throughout the chaos. And when you stay connected to yourself, when your nervous system is regulated, when you're nourished and grounded, the holidays actually become something you can enjoy instead of something you just try to survive. So if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but I actually need some help implementing it, that's why I created the Nourished Holiday Challenge. It's going to be 4 weeks starting on November 24, and we're going to walk you through everything we talked about today and then so much more during our 4 weeks together. Week 1 is nourished with food. We're going to be talking about fueling for steady energy and reducing sugar cravings without restriction. We're still going to be eating your favorite holiday sugar-filled things, but we're talking about blood sugar stability and bringing in more good during this week. And then week 2 is your nourished nervous system, learning how to stay calm through holiday chaos with practical regulation tools. I'm going to teach you my favorite tools that are very quick and easy and simple to use and create really big impact on how you feel in your body and your nervous system. Week 3 is nourished with boundaries because we're going to need to regulate our nervous system before we start creating these boundaries. And this is we're going to break down the all or nothing cycle. So this is where also we're going to focus on our consistency with good nutrition that fuels our body well and not going into all or nothing cycles, right? So all of a sudden, week 3, we're eating all of the sugar. No, we're focusing on our boundaries that help us stay out of all or nothing thinking and also to choose with intention what we're saying yes to during the holidays. And then week 4 is nourished with sustainability. We're going to focus on creating a great rhythm for you in 2026 and thinking about what do I really want to bring in for the new year? How do I want to live, be, feel in this body when it comes to this new year? And so then we'll be working on what does that actually look like for you? Because this week is going to be really about dreaming. It's going to be thinking. It's going to be about visualization of the version of you in 2026 because we can't just let this part of our year slide by and then expect January 1 to arrive and all of a sudden we're a new, different person. No, we want to really dream about what does it look like to be you in 2026? What makes you proud? What makes you feel achievement and accomplishment? And we're going to talk about how to actually implement that. You'll get weekly videos from me. You're going to get PDFs. You're going to get some menus. We'll have an amazing community of women who are all doing this with you. And plus those 2 bonuses that I mentioned, the personalized energy audit and the private body clarity session with me for the first 10 people who sign up. And it's only $29. So this $29 is for 4 weeks of support to really transform how you're experiencing this holiday season. Enrollment will be open all the way until November 24, but just remember those bonuses will expire once they are taken. So don't wait, just sign up right away. And if you're ready to stop surviving the holidays and actually enjoy them with intention and without all or nothing thinking, make sure to head to the show notes to save your spot, or you can go to the website mindfullywell.com/holiday and sign up today. So that's what I have for you today. I hope this gave you some real practical tools to be thinking about for the holidays, and that boundaries are not mean, they're not harsh. They are actually another form of love, a form of love for yourself and for the external thing, whether that's a person, an event, or food. And boundaries are a way on which everyone gets to win. And so I'm so excited to start the holiday challenge with you. I hope you love this episode. And if you would do me a favor and head to the episode and leave a review, it goes so far. All right, my friends, I will see you next week.